hear some wonderful music. We have a bunch of guitars coming up first, and you're really going to enjoy it. So for you to fully enjoy it, I want to make sure that you have all your cell phones off and that you give them your undivided attention, because you're going to enjoy this. You're going to want to hear every single note they play. So up first is our guitar ensemble. It is directed by Steve Raleigh. Please put your hands together and welcome them. Everybody, you'll notice that the guitar ensemble is situated far back on the stage, so no spit or anything will reach you, nothing like that. You're safe back here. We'd like to take you on a little musical journey through time, you might say. We're going to start off with a few dances from George Friedrich Handel's opera called Alcina, and these are 3 dances from this opera. One. Now the second one. Ready? Those of you who have lost count, here comes the third one, the third and final dance. One. very much. Those were 3 dances, and we'd like to move things up in time a little bit and play something for you from the great Fats Waller. This is called Ain't Misbehavin', written in 1929. Contemporary, we're up to the Beatles now. John Lennon and Paul McCartney's Day Tripper. rock band, I know, but you kind of get the idea, I think. Carrying on in the rock and roll tradition, we'd like to now play a Led Zeppelin tune called Livin', Lovin', Maid. That were not enough rock and roll for you, we'd like to play one more song of this sort, I guess I'd say. This is Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. And unfortunately, our special cowbell player could not be here. So please use your imagination. Just imagine more cowbell and go ahead and say it.
I got a fever, to which the only prescription is more cowbell.
So
Thank you.
Use your imagination. Thank you. Okay. Ready?
couple of minutes for us to get set up. So as we're doing this, I'd like to direct your attention to the back of your program. And you can see that there's upcoming concerts here at the college. So next week, we have 2 concerts. On Thursday, May 12th, 7 p.m. right here, we have our student recital. And what that is for the students who have been taking one-on-one private lessons. And at this point, the jazz ensemble will be setting up as I talk. It's a finely run machine here, don't worry about that. So the student recital is for people who are taking individual lessons. And what happens is they come in here next week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we have a panel of the meanest looking teachers lined up right here in the audience where you're sitting now, and they have to demonstrate what they've been working on all semester. And those that don't crumble with fear are allowed to be on the student recital. So it's going to be only the most brave students. Actually, there's different criteria we use. A lot of it has to do with how long people have been studying, whether they've taken on something ambitious. So sometimes we have students who take on a really ambitious piece, and it's not quite ready for public performance, even though they're fantastic and did a great job. On Friday of next week, we'll have our orchestra concert. That is partnered with the community orchestra, so we have retirees, professionals in the community who sit right along with some of our students, and they'll be performing some of the classical orchestral repertoire for you. I'd like to give some special thanks here and acknowledge. First off, I'd like to thank Margaret Craig, who's here this evening. She first approached me and asked if I would be willing to provide some music for this art gallery exhibit that she was going to curate. And she said that it was going to be film posters from black cinema, films that had featured musicians and had a lot of great music. So of course I said, absolutely, I want to collaborate on this. So the exhibit is currently over in the gallery, which is Washington. And if you haven't seen it already, maybe when you come for one of these other concerts next week, be sure to stop by in Washington. The gallery's on that first floor, not the ground basement floor, but on the first floor towards that side parking lot. And it's a wonderful exhibit. We're actually going to show you some of the film posters tonight as we perform. But there's a whole bunch of other ones that very, very interesting. I think you'll enjoy it. So thank you very much to Margaret Craig, also to Holly McCabe, who helped put the presentation together. Joe Cosentino, who's the head of the department for Performing Visual Arts and Communications. Jeff Baker and Doug Like, who are back there helping with sound, and we have other fine gentlemen helping us put the live stream together. Judy Stokes and Jacqueline Murray, who put together a lot of the posters I feel angelic now. Now, do I have a halo? Thank you. So the other thing I wanted to just let you all know about is that here at the college we have 2 degrees that are many of our students that you're hearing are enrolled in. One is our Performing Arts degree, which is an associate's degree where students can specialize in music, dance, theater, or any combination of those 3. And that's a wonderful program. Just as a show of hands, how many of you are in the PFA program? Okay, so we got a few. We also have our music certificate. The music certificate, although it can be done in 1 year, a lot of the times it's done over a longer time span, often in conjunction with the performing arts. And that is an intensive music certification. And both of these fields of study allow the students to pursue music if they wish to. But we also, as you can see, let's see a show of hands of people who are not either a music performance or a PFA major. How many? So we have a lot of non-majors, and I think this is a wonderful thing. You know, my father was born in Germany, and I lived there for a year, and I was struck when I was there how common it was that people in all walks of life and all professions still played music as something that they loved and wanted to keep as part of their life. So I think it's great that we're able to do that, and we're able to welcome both those students who want to be a music major and move on to a 4-year college and maybe pursue it professionally, as well as those who just love music so much that their life would be less fulfilling without it. When you nod. All right. So, our first song is going to be April in Paris. And if you look at your program, this was from the 1974 movie Blazing Saddles. The scene, let me paint the picture for you. The scene is the sheriff is riding through the desert, and he just happens to come along a jazz big band set up in the middle of the desert playing April in Paris, led by none other than the jazz legend himself, Count Basie. We hope you enjoy this. Our next piece is Black and Tan Fantasy. And this is from 1929, a film that featured the incomparable Duke Ellington, an amazing pianist, composer, and band leader. When you watch this film, and again, 1929, we're talking black and white, it starts off with Duke Ellington and a trumpet player working on a new tune. And they're musicians, of course they're poor. So they're getting evicted, and they bribe the people who are trying to take away the piano with liquor. And they so they can finish the song. In the end, there's their singer, and I'm not going to tell you what happens at the end of the movie, but I think when you hear this song, you'll know. This is Black and Tan Fantasy. This is going to feature our front line. It's going to have Matt Fasaro on the trumpet, Shaw on trumpet, and Althea Bresnahan playing the very challenging trombone solo. So listen carefully. One, two, three. Thank you, thank you. Althea Bresnahan on the trombone. Wonderful job. Our next film is Cabin in the Sky. This is from 1943, and the song is Taking a Chance on Love. Now, we're going to do a different version than they used in the film, but it's a wonderful song. This was a wonderful project for me. What I did, I love research. I love music. So when I got a list of all the films that were going to be exhibited over in Washington, I went and looked up the soundtrack for every single film, and I picked some of my favorite songs. And so I chose these six films with these posters, and Taking a Chance on Love is one of my favorites. And this is a beautiful arrangement. It's going to feature one of our trumpet players. You've already heard from her before, Stephanie Venuto. If you see our drummer there, that's Will Robb. Rob, lean forward just a little bit more. A little bit. No, lean forward. If you get the star over your eye, you look like the guy from Kiss. Thank you. That also featured Amelia Lasecki on the piano and Joe Nieves Lucky on the bass. Composed by George Gershwin, an amazing songwriter, written so many wonderful songs and melodies. Made into the movie Porgy and Bess from 1959. This is something I know that we're all looking forward to, especially on a rainy day. We're going to be performing for you the song Summertime, and we're going to invite our vocalist, one of our vocalists, Adjua Johnson, to the stage. Adjua.
sadness hide. Your dad is rich and your mom is good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you'll spread your wings. Then you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, there is nothing can harm you. With mommy and daddy standing by. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you'll spread your wings. Then you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, there is nothing can harm you. With mommy and daddy standing by. Ooh, standing by.
Thank you very much. This next vocalist, we figured every time you hear a piece, we got to make it a little more challenged. So now that you've heard a singer, now it's like you got to hear a singer who can also play the bass at the same time. You're not gonna believe this is amazing. You're gonna love it. So this piece, this film was actually a documentary on the Newport Jazz Festival. And you can see a list of names here. And some of these names are the biggest legends of jazz. And one of the songs they performed was All of Me. And it was sung by Dinah Washington, but she didn't play the bass. So you're in for a treat.
have left me with eyes that cry. Now how can I go on, dear, without you? You took the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me? Your goodbye has left me with eyes that cry. Now how can I go on, dear, without you? You took the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me?
Did you hear that rhythm section too? Ian Angelak on the guitar, holding it down. You may have noticed that we have multiple drummers, multiple bass players, and multiple pianists that we rotate. So right now we have J.J. Donahoe on the drums. You've heard from William Robb, and you're going to hear from him again on those angelic sounds you heard earlier. So listen carefully. You heard Tyler Seegers, you've heard Joe Nieves-Lucky, and you're going to hear from him again. We also heard from Mark Venuto. I wanted to acknowledge all of those folks. We're going to hear Stephen Brundage on piano for this one. I'd like to introduce the rest of the band, holding down the bari sax and wearing a very fine cap. Greg Tyson. Megan Scudieri on the tenor saxophone. You've heard from him before, Alex Buffoli on lead alto sax. Also on alto saxophone, and you heard him earlier on the clarinet, Dan Kortlevin. And because I love symmetry, he had to also wear a cap, Mikey Bruschetti. Rocking the bow tie on the end of the trombone section, Zach Britton. Next to him, Jawan Kenrick. I like to call her Lady J. You've heard from Althea Bresnahan again. Playing those high trumpet notes, Shaw. Also rocking the bow tie. Stephanie Venuto and Matt Fasaro. Just read this film poster. Thank you. So we have a reception waiting. There's just one last thing that we need to take care of before we go. This is not to some of the people in the front row. I think I heard, what did I hear? Oh!